The History of Insects. Author unknown. The year 1813. A Project Gutenberg original. Insects are so called from a separation in the middle of their bodies, seemingly cut into two parts, and joined together by a small ligature as we see in wasps and common flies. However small and contemptible this class of beings may appear, at first thought, yet, when we come to reflect and carefully investigate, we shall be struck with wonder and astonishment, and shall discover that the smallest gnat that buzzes in the meadow is as much a subject of admiration as the largest elephant that ranges the forest, or the hugest whale which ploughs the deep. And when we consider the least creature that we can imagine, myriads of which are too small to be discovered without the help of glasses, and that each of their bodies is made up of different organs or parts, by which they receive or retain nourishment with the power of action, how natural the exclamation, "O Lord, how manifold are thy works! In wisdom hast thou made them all." Elephant beetle. The elephant beetle is the largest of this kind hitherto known, and is found in South America, particularly in Guyana, about the rivers Suriname and Orinoco. It is of a black color, and the whole body is covered with a shell, full as thick and as strong as that of a small crab. There is one preserved in the museum that measures more than 6 inches. Grasshopper. Grasshoppers are too common to need description, as they abound almost wherever there is green grass. One summer only is their period of life. They are hatched in the spring and die in the fall, previous to which they deposit their eggs in the earth, which the genial warmth of the next season brings to life. They are food for many of the feathered race. Cricket. There are 2 classes of crickets, viz., the field cricket and the house cricket. The latter inhabits warm places, the holes of the hearth, etc., from whence we hear its notes, which are agreeable. It is said that they are purchased by some and kept in a kind of cage for the sake of their music. Field crickets inhabit the meadows and subsist on roots, etc., as does another species called the mole cricket. Locust. There are different kinds of the locust. In some seasons they are scarcely heard at all. In others they are more numerous. About the middle or latter part of summer we hear them among the leaves of the trees. Their notes, which are continued about the space of 1 minute, are loud at the beginning and grow lower and lower till they cease, when they immediately fly to another tree, begin again, and end in the same way, and so on. In the eastern countries, a kind or kinds of locust, at different periods, have been very numerous and have done abundance of damage. In the year 1650, a cloud of locusts entered Russia in 3 different places, and from thence spread over Poland and Lithuania. The air was darkened, and the earth covered in some places to the depth of 4 feet. Flea. This very troublesome little animal multiplies very fast among old rags, dirt, straw and litter, where hogs, cats or dogs sleep, and in the hair and bristles of those creatures. Therefore, as a means of avoiding such unwelcome neighbors, in the springs the cleanly farmer scrapes up the rubbish about his woodpile and around his house and barn, and removes it into his field, where it also repays him by manuring his lands. They abound in warm countries, particularly in the southern parts of France and Italy. When examined by a microscope, the flea is a pleasant object. The body is curiously adorned with a suit of polished armor, neatly jointed, and beset with a great number of sharp pins, almost like the quills of a porcupine. It has a small head, large eyes, 2 horns or feelers, which proceed from the head, and 4 long legs from the breast. They are very hairy and long, and have several joints, which fold, as it were, one within another. Louse. These loathsome animals, however unwelcome, attend in troops and add to the afflictions of the unfortunate and lazy, but they are routed by the hand of industry and cleanliness. In examining the louse with a microscope, its external deformity strikes us with disgust. It has 6 feet, 2 eyes, and a sort of sting, nose, or sucker, with which it pierces the skin and sucks the blood. The skin of the louse is hard and transparent, with here and there several bristly hairs. At the end of each leg are 2 claws, by which it is enabled to lay hold of the hairs on which it climbs. There is scarcely any animal known to multiply so fast as this unwelcome intruder. A louse in 8 weeks may see 5,000 of its descendants. Among the ancients, what is called the lousy disease was not uncommon. Antiochus, Herod, and others are said to have died of this disorder. Mite. There are many species of mites, beside the itch animal and mite above. To the naked eye, they appear like moving particles of dust, but the microscope discovers them to be perfect animals, having as regular a figure and performing all the functions of life as perfectly as creatures that exceed them many times in bulk. Their eggs are so small that a regular computation shows that 90 millions of them are not so large as a common pigeon's egg. Scorpion. This is one of the largest of the insect tribe. It is in different countries and of various sizes, from 2 or 3 inches to nearly a foot in length. It somewhat resembles a lobster and casts its skin, as the lobster does its shell. Scorpions are common in hot countries. They are very bold and watchful. When anything approaches, they erect their tails and stand ready to inflict the direful sting. In some parts of Italy and France, they are among the greatest pests that plague mankind. They are very numerous and are most common in old houses, in dry or decayed walls, and among furniture, insomuch that it is attended with much danger to remove the same. Their sting is generally a very deadly poison, though not in all cases, owing to a difference of malignity of different animals or some other cause. Ants. These little animals have been for ages considered as patterns of industry. They were especially noticed by the wise King Solomon. He says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways, and be wise. The ant lays eggs in the manner of common flies. From these eggs are hatched small maggots, or worms without legs. These, after a short time, change into large white aurelia, or chrysales, which are usually called ants' eggs. When a nest of these creatures is disturbed, however great their own danger, the care they take of their offspring is remarkable. Each takes in its forceps, a young one, often larger than itself, and carries it off. These little insects form to themselves, with much industry and application, of earth, sticks, leaves, little hillocks called anthills, in the form of a cone. In these they dwell, breed, and deposit their stores. They are commonly built in woody places. They are from 1 to 2 feet in height. Honeybee. This is an extraordinary, curious, and remarkably industrious little insect. In every hive of bees there are 3 kinds: the queen, the drones, and the laborers. Of these last, there are by far the greatest number. And as cold weather approaches, they drive from the hives and destroy the drones that have not labored in summer and will not let them eat in winter. If bees are examined through a glass hive, all appears at first like confusion. But on a more careful inspection, every animal is found regularly employed. It is very delightful when the maple and other trees are in bloom, or the clover in the meadows, to be abroad and hear their busy hum. Dragonfly. Of these flies there are various species. They all have 2 very large eyes covering the whole surface of the head. They fly very swiftly and prey upon the wing, clearing the air of innumerable little flies. The great ones live about water, but the smaller are common among hedges and about gardens. Butterfly. Of butterflies there are many kinds. How wonderful the various changes of this class of insects. The butterflies lay their eggs. From these hatch out worms or caterpillars, which change their skin several times and finally become aureliae, chrysales or silkworms, out of which come the beautiful butterflies. Spider. There are many kinds of spiders, some of which are said to grow to such a size that they will catch small birds. Some are poisonous, but the greater part are harmless, although to most people their looks are disgusting. The web of a spider, which is a net for catching its prey, is an astonishing piece of curiosity. Silkworm. The silkworm is a very valuable insect. It is produced from an egg of a yellowish color, about the size of a small pin's head, that is laid by a moth or butterfly. The above cut represents a male and female and her eggs, of which she lays several hundreds. The moths live but a few days. They never eat and die directly after the eggs are laid. They are natives of China and were brought into Italy above 1200 years ago, from thence into Spain, afterwards into France, much later into Germany and the northern countries, and some have been reared in the United States of America. Insects are so fascinating. Thanks for watching. The end.